This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts in 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! There's a real deal, baby!
Knockouts in 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, everybody? This is Kyle. It's another Tuesday. We're here, and I survived slinging the fucking mail. This is Knockouts in 3 Counts, and hey, we got a superstar with us today. We're running a little bit late, but we made it. We got the Detroit superstar himself, Mr. Daron Cruickshank. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm good. Cutting weight and doing all the shit, getting ready for this fight. So life is good.
So we were talking about that a little bit before I went and hit the go live button. Let's talk about that right out of the bag. So first of all, what made your decision to go down to 145 other than the fact that they're all monsters, the bigger you go? But what made you make the move down to 45, and how are you feeling with the weight cut?
So I haven't been 145 pounds since junior year of high school. I wrestled some pretty big weights in college. All my amateur fights and my first 3 pro fights were at 170. I made the cut to 155 the first, 10 times I did it. It was pretty rough. And then I literally switched gears, figured out how to do it. And I was making pretty easy cuts, still tough, but, one session in the sauna and I'm on weight in the next morning kind of stuff. And everybody at 55, I've always fought people that are taller than me. I'm actually a pretty long fighter, to be able to close the distance on these long guys and stuff like that. But, it's just, I think I could do it. I love challenging myself, just day to day. And, once I decide something, I just do it. So the 145 weight class better watch out because I'm an animal at 55. So it's like, I'm so tired of fighting tall people. We'll see what happens at there. Yeah. Yep.
I know.
Hey, dude, I love it. Go ahead, Corey.
I know he had brought up our short little conversation beforehand, but you had talked about the no carbs. How's that going? Because I couldn't imagine trying to cut carbs out of my life. A, and then B, are you having the help of a nutritionist leading up to this, or are you taking it all in-house?
Oh, yeah. So, to cut to 45, I've been the strictest I've ever been on a diet. And really, compared to what I've done at 55, I was literally like cheating. Like, it's crazy how strict I have to be to make the 45 cut and to do it right and be healthy on weight and be able to perform the next day after a weight cut. That's the whole thing right now. The whole fight is making this weight correctly. I think I'll dominate him. He's a 35 pounder going up to 45. I'm a 55 pounder going to 45. And I've knocked out a lot of people at 55 and 70. So I don't, he's got a fight coming, dude.
I love it, dude, because I watched everything I've been watching you, man. I remember the first time I watched you fight, I think, was you, Justin, Miles, and everybody were on the same card. It was XCC at the Royal Oak Music Theater, man. Yep. And you guys, it's crazy that you're still going when we're talking 2021 because you fought all over the place. You fought in Japan, you fought in the UFC. Now that you're fighting back stateside, now that you had the fight with Taura MMA, which we could talk about that in a little bit, but now that you've had that fight back under your belt, do you like fighting back in Japan better with that style, or do you like it better over here in the States?
So I absolutely love the rule set and the style in the Japanese fighting organization, Rizin. I picked up on it right away. I love soccer kicks to the ground, stomps, all the stuff. I really like that style. I wish we could do that in the States. I truly believe head kicks on the ground and that stuff should be in all of MMA. There's no safe place when you're in the cage. Just because you're on the ground doesn't make you a safe area. Like, I think you should just, I mean, especially like you have these guys that accidentally hit people on the ground when they're coming up or whatever, and then the fight is thrown out or to a draw or whatever the case is. And like, I really think it should be allowed. Like, then you don't have any mistakes by the judge or the referee, and it's all if it's all legal, we're already fighting for money. Like, come on, you got to be crazy to get in there. And like, to me, that would be the most purest form of combat, right? Obviously, we don't have weapons and stuff, but hand to hand, one-on-one guy, you know what I'm saying, who the best wins. And obviously, you know, you can't be poking people in the eye, but like, let things rip, dude. We're fighting. It's not safe. Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what I was going to ask you, is if you're leaning towards that side, where do you draw the limits? I mean, you had said you can't really go around poking people in the eye. I mean, obviously you can't go intentionally kicking people in the nuts either, but like, where do you draw the line? If you think, you know, stomping a grounded opponents should be on the legal side, where's the line sit in your books?
Yeah, I mean, even the groin shots, like, you have a cup on, right? Take it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you don't ever have that, oh, he hit me in the junk, my stomach's messed up, blah, 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 I can't continue. Like, if it's allowed, then it's allowed. Do it, baby. Like, I take pride in taking a dick shot and just walking through it and hitting people. I also have a really good cup. Throw that out there. Nutshells makes the best cup.
I was going to say, so are you a steel cup guy, or what kind of cup are we talking?
Nutshell. Dude, Nutshell, they gave me some cups, I don't know, years ago, right? And they're level 2 bulletproof cups. I took one to the range and shot it 7 times with all carry ammo for like your pistol, and nothing went through it. It was crazy. It surprised the shit out of me, right? So Nutshells makes an awesome cup. Wow. Shout out to them. Yeah, I think groin shots should be illegal. Like, it'll make the game interesting, and you won't have none of that, like, oh, he hit me in the groin, I take 5 minutes stuff. Like, you better learn how to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, back of the head, I don't care, dude. Like, as long as it doesn't have to deal with the eyes, like, don't poke the eye. Obviously, yeah, it's hard to get around that, but you better learn how to survive.
Yeah. Do you have any suggestions for what you would think? That's another thing that we've heard for years, like with the open finger gloves, you know, like, could there be a way that they could be changed so that it, you know, stopped any of that? Do you think there's any way, like, any like modification you could ever think of to like the gloves or anything like that with that?
Absolutely not. Like,
that's kind of that's always what I've thought too.
It's a part of the sport. Get used to it. Get tough. Right. And obviously you don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. It's all accidental. No, I've never seen somebody potentially like poke somebody on purpose, right? Like, I don't even know how you would throw a punch to poke. Like, people are reaching out and stopping, and we're taught to post on people, you know, like, it happens. I mean, I had eye surgery after an eye poke, right? Like, I'm in there. It happens, dude. It's not on purpose. And it's a part of the sport, so get used to it. Don't be a little bitch about it.
I like it, dude. Just get in there and throw them bitches. But here's my question. So here's my question, man. It's not the first time we've tried to put this together. We were going to talk before your last fight. You know, you got the victory. You're back. You know, you're in the win column coming into this fight. Tell me your thoughts on that fight. I had to at least ask because we was trying to set it up like twice. So I had to hear, now that you're out of it, what are your thoughts on that fight and everything?
I totally forgot about it. But yeah, for all the fighters out there, Taura MMA has still not paid half the card or more from that October card in Florida, which is, you know, I've never heard of that in this sport. I've heard it kind of in boxing and stuff. Where, like, you know, promotions are kind of shady and people are getting screwed. But in MMA, I've really never heard of it, especially at this level. Like, it's a pro fight. It's a pro card. It's on TV. He's got all these sponsors and stuff. And I know some of the guys like in Canada and stuff, they got like half their purse. They didn't get their whole money. I signed a contract and I was supposed to be paid that night. right? And they were like, no, we're gonna forward you, we're gonna send it to your bank account. And I pulled out my contract and I was like, look right here, I'm supposed to get a check right now. They wrote me a check and they knew they were gonna stop the check or bounce it, which is 100% bullshit. It's unprofessional. I still haven't been paid, and it's almost a year. I mean, come on, October.
Yeah.
It's and you know what the thing is I mean, it's a Brazilian company. Fuck them. And that's what we have commissions for. Like that's why we have a governing body in combat sports, so that things like that doesn't happen. And I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Florida needs to pick up and figure out what's going on and do their job and get the fighters paid. It's absolutely bonkers to me that this has happened. It's not a lot of money. I got exactly what I needed from that organization. I beat the shit out of one of their up and coming guys. So I got my win and back in the win column. At the level that I'm fighting, it's not for the money. Right. It's to lead to bigger, better things, especially at that show. So it sucks that I pay people to get ready for fights, like obviously, time away from training people and stuff like that, getting everybody out there, all my corners and shit like that, all the supplements and dieting and all the crap, right, comes out to like, I don't know, I'm in the hole even when I win at that show. So it's like, it's crazy. I still haven't got paid.
That's crazy. And like you had noted there, the fact that it is a Brazilian company, but they brought it stateside, you would think the whole commission, the fact that they had to get licensed to even put on the event and everything, you would think that would kind of lead to the fighter's favor, I guess you would say. So I'm very surprised, and I guess shame on Florida Commission. Have you had any talks or anything with any of them guys?
To them, no. They cut contact with me. I'm basically, next time they're all in the States, I'm going to show up to the airport and, like, let's go to your bank, homie, because you don't have a choice. But, I mean, I'm a huge believer in karma.
Definitely.
Everybody that lied to my face, they will get what they're coming from. There's a higher power, and it'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I mean, that whole show was crazy because for that show, we interviewed Brett Martin for that. And then his whole fight fell out with Bigfoot. And then Bigfoot had a fight like 2 days later. I'm like, dude, that doesn't just happen like that where somebody has a fight somewhere else.
No,
2 days later, that quick.
They knew it. They're shady as fuck. Don't trust them. They're pieces of shit. So fuck them.
Well, let's get on to some bigger and better things.
Yeah,
we're talking about XFC, man. Yes, man. I've got the shirt on and the hat. Shout out to the big boss, Myron Malotki over there. Tell me about that. Why XFC, and what? How are you feeling about stepping into the cage against their former champ?
Is he the champ?
He was the former champ.
Yeah. So I met them, cornering Bobby at the last show, and I've heard great things. We've had a couple people fight for them before, and I haven't seen, nothing like Taura. Like, everybody's respectful. Everything is like where it needs to be. Their backstage performance, the way they put on the show was top notch. So that's why I'm like, let's see what we can do. See if we can. And then they said they had a show coming in Michigan, and I haven't fought in Michigan in a while. It's really nice to get in front of my family and friends. Most people can't travel the 100,000 miles that I go to fight. It's a 3-hour drive from my home instead of a 14-hour flight. So that's really nice. Hometown crowd. I'm just super excited. I know XFC has been around for a while, but they really are starting to sparkle. They're a bright and shining star in the MMA world, and I'm excited to fight for them and potentially help them out with getting some big names on there. So I wouldn't say I'm like a crazy famous guy or anything, but I do put on a show every single time, and I'll put one on that night too.
Look, man, don't sell yourself short. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, you and I have known each other since I think I was 15 or 16 when I first met you. I remember you were still training in the Olivet singlet when I first came over to MASH, man. Yep. And so for you to still be doing your thing now and to be in a spot like you are now, where you mentioned you met XFC because you were cornering Bobby. I mean, how does it feel for you to be fighting on this card, on the same card as one of your star pupils, but now you're going to get a chance for both of you guys to be, front and center and shine bright under the XFC lights?
So Bobby is an animal, right? I absolutely love him at the gym. He is a workaholic and he listens. He's a very coachable guy. He's very smart. And I'm excited to see his performance at this show. I wish I could be in the corner when he's fighting. I probably won't be because I'm concentrating on myself. Now, he's in the gym every single day. He's with me. He's with the guys that I train with. I have 100% confidence in him that he is going to go out and knock this guy out like in the next step. Bobby has developed so much power. It's crazy. And I'm so excited to see him perform. And it's going to be an honor to fight with somebody from my gym on the same card. That hasn't happened. Yeah, I don't even remember. Right. So it's very cool. It's awesome. And I'm excited.
Corey, so I've been flapping my gums for a minute. What do you got for Mr. Cruickshank?
Well, just because we're on the note of Mr. Nasty himself, Bobby Nash, he has shown that power that you guys have developed in these last two fights. He's earned his spot into this welterweight final, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm excited to see him shine. I'm excited to see all you guys shine. And you had noted that XFC is a real promotion on the rise. What do you think is the difference that they've been doing other than the fact of being consistent, taking care of fighters, putting on good fights? It seems like they've done a really good job since they've kind of done their relaunch, I guess you could say it.
You know what? There's a few things that, make shows outstanding, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't see that happen because it's all backstage. It's how they treat the fighters. It's, the pay that they take care of, the hotels that they put them in, right? That's what it comes down to, right? And then also putting them on posters and putting their name out there and stuff like that. The show is like we're little baby monkeys, like at a circus, right? The XFC is a circus, and people come to watch us do some crazy shit, right? So you got to take care of your wild animals that you're displaying. So they do a good job. They get it out there, and I'm excited to make a splash.
Any thoughts on the Young Guns events they've been putting on?
I saw a little bit at the last show. It's awesome for these young kids to get out there and put their name out there, get the experience and their foot in the door with a reputable company that travels around the country. So that's actually really cool. I'd love to get my guys on there. We'll see maybe about the next show.
Okay. Well, I want to take it off MMA for a second because anybody who knows anything about you, we all know that you like to shoot a gun or two. So tell me about how you got into shooting, I would say you're professionally at this point. I mean, I see a different setup you got every day. And if so, dude, you got like the ultimate setup for a zombie apocalypse. If we die, I mean, shit, I want to be rolling in whatever kind of Humvee or whatever the fuck you're driving because, I don't know, man. I've seen you got some pretty wild shit over there. So tell me about how you got into shooting like that. And hell, if we did get a zombie apocalypse, what are you rolling with?
And secondly, how the hell are you able to afford still shooting right now? That's what I'm
I got people. You gotta have a support system. So I got into guns when I was really young. Like I never played with cars or Legos. I literally had toy guns with me everywhere I went, right? That was literally the only thing I played with. When I was 13 or 14 years old, my dad got me into competitive shooting. Real simple competitive shooting, not the stuff that I do now. It's called PPC shooting. It's mostly done at police stations. And it's more of like a police station kind of police people do it. It's real simple. You just shoot the X out and on this side and that side. It's not what I do now. But I was addicted right away. Like, I love guns. It really hasn't changed other than I made more money. I can buy more guns. Right. So it's like, that's once I started making real money fighting, I got into 3-gun and I was able to, buy all the ammo and buy all the guns and spend all my money on guns. So it's like, and then I got really good at shooting. Right. And got some sponsors, and most gun companies and that type of stuff are also into fighting, right? Because it's just an extension of your hand. Shooting is just it's a form of combat. Obviously, we're not shooting at each other, but the whole idea stems from protection.
Combat situation.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes hand in hand. I have a ton of sponsors from shooting that I use for MMA and vice versa. So it's like, it's very nice. And I've branded myself as, the all-American boy that likes to shoot some fucking guns and shit. Right. So that's it's awesome. And majority of my sponsors that have been with me for years are all Michigan-based companies, right? And I'm all about Michigan. I didn't move to Vegas and all these big camps. I wanted to build something in Michigan for Michigan guys that don't want to move. My family's here. My support system's here. I love Michigan. I love all the seasons and all the different shit that goes on. So I'm not moving. That's why I started a gym here, and that's it's nice to promote Michigan companies. So those are, let me go through them.
Go ahead.
Have GSL Technology suppressors. I have a bunch of them, and they're awesome. They're very quiet. I have BG Defense. They are out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They make AR-15 rifles and pistols, bad to the bone. I have a bunch of those too. And then the big one, Trigicon. Trigicon has military contracts for years. They make the baddest scopes and optics out there that money can buy. So if you're from Michigan, you should be supporting Trigicon Optics.
Hey, dude, I love it. I had to ask about that because, dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit jealous because that shit is dope. But you led right into what Corey wanted to ask in just about how, you already pretty much laid into it with the guns and all that.
So,
but yes, all the different ammo and all of it, man. You just make my job easy.
Are you reloading? Are you reloading yourself? I gotta ask.
So I am sponsored by Phoenix Ammo, and they are out of Novi, Michigan.
Shout out to Nazaroff.
Yes, Justin Nazaroff. Now, sponsorship was better last year than it is this year, but I can still get ammo, and he squeezes it out of his butthole for me when I need it. Very appreciated. Sucks that he lost his Facebook and Instagram. Like, literally, Big Brother took him out. Like, no Facebook, no Instagram. Literally cut out all ties off of Phoenix Ammo and him. And then originally, when they did that, they took out every employee at Phoenix Ammo. They literally cut them out of Instagram and Facebook. Eventually, the workers got it back, but Justin, no way. He's got like a war with Facebook. It's pretty funny. I love it.
That's awesome. I didn't even know any of that, dude. But Nazaroff's a good dude. I've trained with him for years as well, dude. It's funny as hell.
Justin's the man.
I know you had alluded to growing up with a gun in hand. I had done quite similar, but with a bow in hand. I had competed in some bow competitions.
When I grew up, I bow hunted. Like, literally I shot a deer this year with my 12 gauge, but all the deer before that, when I really hunted, it was more like high school, just in the college. We're all taken with a bow. it's definitely different. I mean, I can shoot something 1,000 yards away now. You know what I'm saying? Like a bow, you got to be like right there.
Yeah, you got to be on top of them. You got to be.
Yeah.
It's such a waiting game, and my nerves in a tree just do not sit still after sitting there for 3 hours, and then you finally get one creep up on you. You get that ants in the pants feeling. It's just. I love it, but hate it. My whole family has moved on to crossbows at this point. I'm the only one still carrying a regular bow out there with me, but we'll see. Because them crossbows, man, that's definitely a.
That's like a rifle, dude. It's a rifle out to 100 yards, like it's point and shoot. That's why I like coyote hunting. Like I'm not a big hunter, but I absolutely love coyote hunting because it's not like bow hunting. It's not like deer hunting in general, where you sit in a tree stand for 10 hours, right? You hit a bunch of spots. You're there for 30 minutes max, right? Nothing happens. You go to the next spot. You have night vision and thermal suppressors, and it's bad to the bone. You literally set up ambushes all night long against coyotes, right? It's sweet. It's a lot more fun than deer hunting. Obviously, you don't eat deer or coyotes. Some people do. They're just weirdos. If I had to, I guess I would. But I'm not into it for really the fur or anything. It's just, it sounds like a bad thing, but it's like practice for the boogaloo. Like hitting things really far away at night. You can't see them. You can't judge anything. They're only 10 inches wide. And there is a ton of coyotes in Michigan. They're overrunning things. They're destroying crops. They're eating people's dogs. It's like, people are like, oh yeah, you're doing a great job at helping and stuff. I really do it just because it's fun. Right.
It's similar to small game.
That might be crazy, but I have kept a couple furs. They are sweet. It's just, it gets expensive every time you shoot one and you want to have the fur gun up. Yeah. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to do it, but yeah.
Hey man, that's dope though. Like I say, I always like to try to take it a little bit away from, MMA and all that stuff as well. That leads me to my other question for you. So I noticed on Instagram, you threw a little flashback of you throwing out the Sweet Chin music. So with us being a pro wrestling podcast as well, were you ever a wrestling fan? If so, who was it? Were you a Shawn Michaels fan?
100%. Before 8th grade is when I was like hardcore into wrestling. So I would say like 5, 6, and 7th grade, I was like, yeah, Stone Cold, The Rock, Austin, like HBK. Obviously, he was like the man getting the bitches and stuff like that. Those were my guys. But then I started wrestling in 8th grade, and I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, wait a second, this is not that. Right. And wrestling is extremely hard, even in 8th grade when you're young doing it. And I'm like, to me, I was like, okay, I know the difference. And, I'm going one route, not the other. So that's all it is. The guys that do that are extremely athletic. They are talented. And they have their own sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole show and entertainment for the people. And some people are really into that. Me, not so much anymore. Obviously, it's cool to see them flip through the air and do some acrobatic shit, right? But I don't even watch fighting. Why am I going to watch fake fighting, right? That's like, I'm not a huge fan of like watching every UFC event. Like, I literally will put on a show at my house just to get people over and talk to people and have the guys over, stuff like that. But if everybody's not getting together, I don't give a fuck about it, right? Like, I've never been the guy that watches sports and like cares about anything unless one of my guys are doing, or unless it's somebody that I might fight or something like that. I'm just not a fan of, I don't know, other people, I guess.
I can completely respect that, because you're not the first person to say that either on the MMA end or the wrestling end, because I mean, we've talked to everybody from Booker T to Diamond Dallas Page and, clear down to UFC and everything else. And it's funny, whether you're talking to wrestlers or you're talking to fighters, it's like, either if you got a guy who maybe is on his way up, he might be saying, I'm watching to see the other guys in my division. Otherwise, if it's people that have been in there for a long time, you pretty much hear the same thing. I'm not, like I'm doing this shit and I've been doing it for so long that the last thing I'm trying to do in my free time is to be watching that. So you're not the first person to tell us that at all. But you mentioned with it being watching your guys, with it being Tuesday, what are your thoughts on Michigan's own Vinnie Murdoch over there in the Ultimate Fighter, man? He did his thing in his first fight.
I love that kid, right? He's like a child to me, like one of my children, right? He'll always be little Vinny. So we shared a house, right? He lived in like a closet. Like legitimately the size of like a closet. It's crazy. You can put that kid anywhere and he'll be fine. He's doing it, man. He went out to California. So it was after the Ultimate Fighter. He got introduced to Uriah Faber through me, and he liked that lifestyle and he wanted to go out there. I think he kind of expected all of, like me and Cody to follow him, but it was like we're all on our own path. You know what I'm saying? And he's got a good life out there. He's got a girl. He's got a kid coming. That's awesome. He's grown up a lot. So super excited for him. We'll always be tight. He's doing good, man. I'm glad he got through that little head thing he had, and he's living his dream. He's fighting UFC and well deserved, because he is a hard worker. He is a hustler, and he gets it. Like, if something he wants, he figures out how to get it, right? And I'm super proud of him.
I love it, dude, because he went out there and did his thing. Like the last time we had Vince on the show was when they went and did that MTV India thing, man. So yeah, dude. There you go, the big boss Myron Malaki popping in the comments. This guy's a rock star. Hey, man, it kind of goes kind of close to the nickname, but since we know you're into the crazy shit, we've seen all the stuff with Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all that stuff. If you could fight any celebrity, anybody, who would it be? And
Probably
are we
Mike
fighting
Tyson.
boxing or kickboxing?
I'll fight Mike Tyson for a lot of money.
Hot damn. Oh shit. I had to ask, man, because those fights were something else, because I'm just like, I'm watching Logan Paul against Floyd Mayweather, and I'm like, shit, this dude, like, the size difference is the only thing I'm thinking. I'm like, Floyd should kill this guy, but this guy outweighs him by like fucking 40 pounds. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The thing is that's not a real fight. They're putting on a show, right? And Floyd is a master of putting on a show. He's a bad boy. He can do exactly what he wants to do, no matter what size the guy is. He's not fighting a crazy tall heavyweight, right? What was Logan Paul? I don't know. 185 or something like that.
Yep.
I don't even know.
Maybe 180, 190 on a good day.
Right. Floyd Mayweather could do whatever he wanted to him. He probably carried him throughout the fight. It's a show. Yeah. Floyd is doing his thing, making a lot of money, not fighting studs. Right. He's older. I think if he fought one of the stud boxers right now, obviously it'd be a really good fight. Floyd is still Floyd. Right, but he has learned to make money fighting turds. So,
hey man, you knew he couldn't get out of the the sideshow stuff without getting his money. He literally said it in the lead up. He was like, "Look, man, you can't be putting on these big show fights and me not be involved." So I don't think anybody should really be surprised that he was involved. But with all that being said, man, like I said, you're getting ready to go back to fight August 6th here in Grand Rapids, man. What, if anything, is there any different motivation for you now these days with fighting, other than obviously wanting to get up back to bigger stakes or anything like that? But I mean, with you being around so long, like, what's the biggest thing that's changed in your motivation?
I mean, for me, I now have a family, right? Best thing I've ever did. Get married and have kids. It's freaking crazy. I've never been one. Growing up, I literally told everybody, like, I'm never getting married, dude. Like, I'm living a crazy life. And I have. But, you grow up, you grow old, and you get mature. Literally having a kid is the best thing I've ever done. It's the coolest thing I've ever done. And I fought all over the world. I've done some crazy shit. And literally to see your child do something new every day, you're like, holy fuck, this is crazy, right? Like, she opened the refrigerator or something, right? Whatever it is, it's nuts. And I mean, that's my motivation right now. So it's like, I mean, obviously, yeah, I want to fight. I still think I'm one of the guys that has just held together this whole time. Like I've never, knocked on wood, had an injury to take me out of a competition or anything like that. I keep my body strong out of camp, in camp. Like I train all the time. And I think the biggest thing is with a lot of guys are only in the gym training when they have a fight, right? So, I mean, you fight twice a year, you're in camp 6 months or 6 weeks or 8 weeks out of the year, like whatever, dude. I'm there every single day and I'm training with these young bucks, trying to take my head off all the time. I'm a firm believer in a body in motion will stay in motion. So I've taken some hard shots, but not that many compared to a lot of guys. I'm not the guy that takes one to give one. I mean, I have and I will, but when it comes to striking, I am playing a chess game, right? I rarely take punishment in my fights. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't been knocked out. For sure I've been knocked out, right? Sometimes monkeys fall out of trees. So it's like every once in a while guys get lucky. You know, that's the name of the game. But I've been doing this for a long time. When I'm fighting somebody, especially on my feet, it's almost like I can see the future, right? I know exactly what they're going to do before they do it. And it's unfortunate, but like I feel like I could fight probably till I'm like 45. I mean, Randy Couture won a UFC world title. I think he was 45 years old the last time he did it. It just depends on how well you take care of your body, right? I'm not a big partier. I've never smoked weed. I'm all about being healthy. And again, a body in motion stays in motion. Until I stop like doing it, I will probably do it forever. I'll probably die in the cage someday. I don't know, 100 years from now, on my shield, right? So, see what we can do.
Hey, man, well, that's about as good a way as any, but the last and most important question of all of them before I let you out of here. So what inspired the Cruickshank War Stash, and is it like a Michigan top team requirement at this point? Because literally I've had about 4 or 5 of your guys on fight week, and at least 3 out of the 4 had the mustache.
So I love having a mustache. my wife absolutely hates it, but when I sign a contract, I'm allowed to have it because it's time to fight.
It's right? Part of the mojo.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got to Japan, I had it in my first fight in Japan, and they were like, well, you got to wear it every time now. So I'm like, yeah, sweet, awesome. Because you got to brand yourself, especially fighting in a new organization. So they're like, hey, yeah, sweet. And then they put mustaches on all my posters and stuff. It's crazy. Right? But I like having a mustache. I don't know. It's like what's a lion without its mane, right? So during the fight, this thing will be cut. This will be curled up in a little cool little deal, and we'll do the dance.
You know, it's fucked up because my barber tells me to do that every time I get my haircut, because I swear when I get my beard lined up and everything, she's like, I swear you have like the perfect mustache for it. Maybe for the fight, since I'm going to be there in the press conference and everything, I'll pull out the handlebar mustache just for you in support of the Detroit superstar. Well, Corey, I think we flapped our gums for long enough. And before I let you out of here, and all of you guys who are watching, we mentioned Bobby Nash. Make sure you're back with us this Thursday live at 9 p.m. as Bobby Nash will make his return to the show before he knocks some dude out in the final of XFC 45. So, Daron, I appreciate you coming on, man. Feel free to throw your social media out, anything you want to plug or anything like that. And I can't wait to see it live and in person and link up again August 6th.
Yep, let's do it. So my Instagram is Cruickshank155. No, wait a minute. I don't know. It's Daron Cruickshank, or I know my Twitter is like Cruickshank155.
Yep. Facebook, you had them switched around. Twitter's the Cruickshank one.
Yeah, it's all whatever. Just look it up. Look up Cruickshank. You'll find it. Whatever, dude. So sweet. I'll see you guys fight night.
Yes, sir.
Right the way in too, probably.
Don't forget to plug the gym.
Yep. I'll be there for the press conference and all of it. We're gonna be up in there.
Yep, you can look up Michigan Top Team. That's That's a gym I own, and I'm building an army, and we're gonna take over the world. I'm like Pinky in the Brain every night.
Like I said, that's why I'm rocking with them for the zombie apocalypse. Until next time, and in the in-between time, peace.
Peace.